election and every division would be won by the People's National Party, you'd have an entire parish council comprised of PNP councillors. Let's take a look at what's happening over in St. Andrew West. So let's pull up St. Andrew West there.
George Hilton.
So we can see what is happening. Earl.
St. Andrew West, Anthony Hilton of the PNP, $1,911. Dorland Francis of the JLP, $1,698. 46 boxes of 130. So Mr. Hilton has 53% of the votes. St. Andrew Northwestern, Dr. Nigel Clark, the incumbent, 3,765. Rohan Banks of the PNP, 1,444. That's 64 of 108 boxes. So we know where that one is headed. And St. Mary Southeastern, one of the interesting ones. Norman Dunn of the Jamaica Labour Party, the incumbent via a by-election, 3,170. Shane Alexis of the PNP, 2,339, and that's 53 of 107 boxes. St. Mary Central, Maurice Guy, the incumbent from the PNP, 4,273 to Lennon Richards of the JLP, 3,853, 77 of 101 boxes. And Robert Bobby Montague of the JLP in St. Mary Western, 7,222 to Jason Stanford of the PNP, 4,167.
So what we're seeing here is that even in the seats that the PNP are leading in, and that would have expected to win comfortably, we're seeing a much tighter contest.
Yes. So it confirms the national trend.
So there's a significant national.
And Rhoda Crawford continues to lead Peter Bunting in Manchester Central, 5,583 to Bunting, 4,579, 90 of 128 boxes, and Rohan Chung, 33.
Over 1,000.
Now, here's the interesting thing, because Dr. Peter Phillips had said he'd step down if the PNP loses, but some of the people who might have aspired to take his place might be on target to lose their own seats, and therefore...
Yes, it would still be the right thing for them to quickly settle the matter of a successor.
Here's Manchester Southern, Earl.
Manchester Southern, the 89 of 114 boxes, and Robert Chin continues to lead 5,697 to Michael Stewart.
Turn the beat up and turn my playback off, please. Thank you, Chris.
867 to 2,838 for Damian Young.
He's in a fight for that seat.
He definitely is in.
No, for Michael.
Trelawney Northern, Tova Hamilton continues to lead there. 7,092 to Victor Wright. 5,963, and it's almost over because that's 125 of 135 boxes.
Yeah.
And what is the margin?
Over 1,000, almost.
Well, no surprise, Trelawney Southern, Marisa Dalrymple Philibert, 1,967 to Richard Sharp. 1% he's independent, and Lloyd Gillings of the PNP, I'm not seeing anything there.
Okay, I think they need to sort that out.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to just come back to the swing. I think based on where we are at the moment, it is now a matter of what is the margin of victory that the JLP will have, in my view, in this election. You look at some cues from traditional PNP seat like Southeast St. Anne, never ever won by the JLP, except in 1980 and 1983, I believe. And Lisa Hanna, high-profile candidate for the People's National Party, 111 boxes counted of 126. And she's just slightly ahead of Delroy Granston. She's on 4,626. He's on 4,494. Absolute tightening of the race, and you can see the shift that is taking place there. She got thousands and thousands of votes in the last election.
Won by over almost 4,000 votes the last time.
Right.
Yes.
And she's just, you know, if we look as well back in North Clarendon.
Hold on a moment, Emily. We have Hanover Eastern on screen. Earl?
Well, this is interesting. Wavell Hines of the PNP, 1,000.
Under my plan, 50% of emergency small business relief would be reserved for the smallest businesses.
안녕. 귀여워. 오늘의 주인공은 만입니다.
Western. This is the turn up for the books. Yes. Tamika Davis of the JLP, 4,641. Ian Hales of the PNP, 4,104. 88 of 111 boxes. A little way to go still.
Yeah. Yeah, but it just indicates the level of swing that is taking place.
St. James Southern, Homer Davis, 1,906 to Dr. Walton Small, 1,279, and that's 31 of 106 boxes. St. James West Central, another interesting one. Marlene Malahoo Fort doing very well, 1,964. Dr. Andre Houghton of the PNP, 1,269, 37 of 101 boxes. St. James Central, Heroy Clark, the incumbent, 2,729 for the JLP. Andre Hilton, 1,519. The independent, or is that Ross Asta Black?
It is.
He has 9.
He has been around.
Yes. No surprise for this one. St. James Northwestern, Dr. Horace Chang, the multiple incumbent, 4,826 to George Hamilton of the PNP, 1,611. And St. James East Central, Edmund Bartlett, the incumbent, continues to do very well, 5,120 to Michael Hemmings of the PNP, 1,949. I think former Speaker Violet Nielsen was the last person to hold this for the PNP.
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
Can you go back to Westmoreland Eastern since you're in the West? Luther Buchanan.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to declare TVJ is now declaring St. James Northwest for Dr. Horace Chang of the Jamaica Labour Party. So Dr. Horace Chang of the Jamaica Labour Party, we predict returning to Gordon House as a Member of Parliament for Northwest St. James, defeating the PNP's George Hamilton.
Have you seen Westmoreland?
St. Thomas Western. Yes. Emily, I'm tired.
Go ahead. St. Thomas Western, go ahead.
5,720 for James Robertson and Marsha Francis, 3,817 for the PNP. Michelle Charles of the JLP in St. Thomas Eastern. What? This is a significant one, 4,614 to 4,270 for Fenton Ferguson.
That is massive. Yes. When you look at the eastern end of the island, Fenton Ferguson, this is a safe PNP seat, and Fenton Ferguson is trailing by approximately 250 votes with 103 boxes counted out of 123.
A seat that used to be held by her father, Pernell Charles, for a while, 3 terms.
It's not, in its traditional sense, it's not a safe PNP seat.
Portland Eastern, Anne-Marie Vaz, she has 6,711. Purcell Jackson, 5,315 for the PNP. 105 of 127 votes. That one is pretty close to being determined. Daryl Vaz, Portland Western, 2,604. Valerie Nita Robertson, 2,171.
Well, she's certainly putting up a fight there, at least 50% of the way. Let us go to the break, and we'll be back with more results in just a moment.
TVJ's This.
"2020, the year of the most twists and turns, and we've got you covered. Decision 2020, COVID-style coverage, from the opening of the
Under my plan, every 3- and 4-year-old child gets access to free high-quality preschool.
Your Honda dealer is open and ready to get you into a new Pilot or Passport.
In 2020, we've got you covered.
It's the big one.
We are going to create the new Jamaica.
This team is ready to rescue Jamaica.
2020, the year of the most twists and turns, and we've got you covered. Decision 2020, COVID-style coverage. From the opening of the polls across Jamaica, our teams will bring you ballot-by-ballot coverage. We'll give you the latest voters count, spiced with our experienced analysts. Which party will form the next government? TVJ's Decision 2020, we've got you covered.
Reduce your risk of viral illnesses like the flu and coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing with a tissue and dispose of it. Avoid close contact with anyone with a cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or the nearest health center and share your travel history. The flu and coronavirus can kill. Let's protect each other. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
It's the big one.
We are going to create the new Jamaica.
This team is ready to rescue Jamaica.
2020, the year of the most twists and turns, and we've got you covered. Decision 2020, COVID-style coverage. From the opening of the poll.
At Popeyes, everyone is family, and families make sure everyone has what they need.
Got the family-style meal rockin'.
We'll give you the latest voters count, spiced with our experienced analysts. Which party will
Thank you so much for staying with us. Decision 2020, and it is a night for the record books. Let's go now to another declaration. TVJ declares St. Andrew Eastern. TVJ is now declaring St. Andrew Eastern.
Okay, for favor.
What's this?
So we're declaring St. Andrew Eastern for Fable Williams. Fable Williams will be returning to Gordon House, having defeated Venetia Phillips of the People's National Party. We're talking about Central Kingston. I want to bring our listeners up to date on that. The results I'm seeing here suggest that it is almost over, 79 out of 80 boxes, with the JLP's Donovan Williams at 4,590. To Imani Duncan's price, 4,070.
Wow.
Yes.
I heard that wow, Floyd, all across the room.
Yes, that is.
Tell me how significant this is.
That is a big blow. That is a big blow because, I mean, it's going to be difficult with one box to go
Sorry, it's now 80 on the screen. So
it's gone. It's gone, Floyd.
It's gone.
So,
it's gone. The EOJ has declared it 4,623 to Donovan Williams and Imani Duncan Price 4,147. So that's about over 450 she's lost by in Central Kingston.
There is something else about it, though. You know, that's another important brick in that Southern Kingston, Southern St. Andrew belt that the JLP has been able to install now. The PNP has East Kingston and Port Royal. They now have Central Kingston, Western Kingston, and then you have the PNP with South St. Andrew and Southwestern St. Andrew and Western St. Andrew. But you see the JLP making inroads there, and that is a constituency in which a significant development is slated to take place in terms of government circle and new housing in that area.
Development.
Okay, let's just say, well, we have East Kingston and Port Royal on the screen there. Philip Paulwell leading comfortably at this point. But since we had mentioned St. Andrew East Central a little bit earlier, where Jodianne Mary had been leading, Peter Phillips has managed to win the seat. He has polled 4,963 to Jody and Mary's 3,881. All boxes counted.
3,000.
Could this postpone or could this change Dr. Phillips's timetable for his departure from the leadership of the PNP, or does it hasten it?
But why should it? One would say that in a leader-centric country, might it not be argued, and Dr. Phillips said in response to Janelo earlier today, that he would step down if the PNP lost.
And the only thing I would say, stay on long enough.
One second, Earl, TVJ now declares St. Andrew East Central. TVJ declares officially, all right? I did it, but we're doing it officially. So we're declaring St. Andrew East Central of the PNP's Peter Phillips.
Right. My point is stay on long enough to properly organize a succession and hand off, because there will be lots of bruised egos and bruised all kinds of hurting going on.
Well,
but the sooner he does it, better, because he has indicated that he is going to step down if the PNP should lose. But it can't be an instant action. I mean, measures has to be put in place to facilitate the transition.
I think the fact of the matter is that what we're witnessing now means that even if you were to hold on for that in an interim period, it's going to be bitter. It's going to be very, very difficult. Of course. Because they're going to lay everything at his feet. And it means, therefore, that the PNP has a lot to do in terms of organizing to move ahead and to sort out their leadership. And I would not want to be in his shoes at any at all.
Can we pop over to Westmoreland Western? Because the people who are a senior vice president of the People's National Party, Wickham McNeil, has held the seat forever. Westmoreland is PNP country. Dr. Wickham McNeil is trailing a man whose name I didn't even internalize before this election. Moreland Wilson, 4,909 votes, Western Westmoreland. Wickham McNeil is on 3,778, trailing by over 1,100 votes with 94 boxes of 121 counted. And we were thinking perhaps some movement would be taking place in central Westmoreland, where Dwayne Vaz is going up there against George Wright. There is some movement, but the movement is right across Jamaica. So in central Westmoreland, 73 boxes counted. George Wright of the JLP, 3,499. Dwayne Vaz of the PNP, 3,220. It's now a matter of the length of the margin of victory for the Jamaica Labour Party for this parliament. And the last time we had a count, they were leading in 49 seats to 14. That may have gone up with the loss of Central Kingston by Imani Duncan Price.
I think Luther Buchanan might just hold on to Westmoreland Eastern. I think there's only one box left, and he has 4,750 to Daniel Lawrence of the JLP, 4,667.
Yes. Dwayne Vaz continues to trail at this point. 34.99 to the JLP's George Wright. Vaz is at 32.20, 73 boxes of 167.
It looks as if Don Anderson's polls were really correct in terms of the lead, the national lead for the JLP, because this is exactly what it is translating in seat count-wise across the island. Yeah, for Eastern Westmoreland, as I said, was held by P.J. Pattison. There's no way you take that seat with only 120 votes or so.
So that has been declared now?
Just one box to go, Floyd.
One box to go.
In 1980, he lost it to Euphemia Stevens.
Unknown.
And that was a famous one.
Yes.
This one will be famous as well.
Well, no, Luther Buchanan seems to be just about holding on to it.
Okay.
Dion, if we can go back to the Clarendon seats, because this will give us a further window into the national swing. North Clarendon, Horace Daly, the incumbent, 83 of 97 boxes. Northern Clarendon, Dwight Sibley's is leading of the JLP with 5,104. Horace Daly, 4,511.
It's about 500 and something votes.
Yeah, about that.
With how many boxes?
83 of 97.
So you have 14 boxes left.
Yes. Northwest Clarendon, 81 boxes of 107. Richard Azan has pulled ahead slightly of Philip Henriquez. He's on 4,601. And Philip Henriquez of the JLP on 4,387. 81 of 107 counted in Northwest Clarendon.
You have anything from Southeast Clarendon and Central Clarendon?
Southeast Clarendon at the moment, 123 of 135 boxes.
Oh, Southwest rather. Sorry about that. Southwest, because you had declared Southeast before.
No, we haven't declared.
It wasn't declared.
Oh, okay.
But
so it is
Colonel
looking
Charles
at damage limitation now. So Clarendon Southwestern.
What do you have there, Earl, for Southwestern?
Let me see, going back up to it if I can find it quickly. Clarendon Southwestern. You have Cousins of the PNP, 4,050, and Kent Gammon of the JLP, 2,392, 59 of 96 boxes. So the PNP, it seems, will hold on to Clarendon Southwestern.
North Central Clarendon. Colonel Charles's old seat, 68 boxes of 100 counted. Robert Morgan of the JLP, 3,547. And he's leading Desmond Brennan, who is now on 2,208. So he's leading by 1,300 votes with over half of the boxes counted so far in North Central Clarendon. And in Southeast Clarendon, Colonel Charles Jr. is holding there by over 2,500 votes.
Let's go over to Manchester and take a look at what's happening there. We have Manchester Central on screen.
It's still on.
Rhoda Crawford, 6,141 to Peter Bunting, 5,183, and that's 98 of 128 boxes. And Dion, Mr. Chung has 35. So 54.1% of the votes have gone to Rhoda Crawford thus far. Peter Bunting, 45.6% of the votes. He's in trouble.
And how many boxes?
98 of 128. So you have what?
30
boxes left?
30 boxes. So he has to pray and hope that those boxes aren't
Belfield.
Are from Belfield.
Trelawney North.
Trelawney North is gone.
Yes.
That's
Dover Hamilton, 8,400. That's a final.
Yes.
She has won it.
Wow.
Wow, that's another.
Okay, so we're declaring Trelawney North for Tova Hamilton of the Jamaica Labour Party. She has defeated the incumbent Victor Wright of the People's National Party.
And again, the last time the JLP won Trelawney North, I believe, was 1980.
80.
That was Keith
Russell.
Keith Russell.
Yes. And if we look back over Hanover, because I'm interested in the Hanover Trelawney Westmoreland swing, Tamika Davis of the JLP is leading 5,022 to Ian Hales' 4,420, 95 of 111 boxes counted.
It's 500 and something.
She's leading by about 500 and something votes there.
So you said how many boxes?
95 out of 111.
16 boxes.
11 boxes to go. 16 boxes to go, rather. Thank you, Floyd.
Hanover Eastern is also
it's
very
actually,
interesting.
no, hold on. I'm getting some information that's an updated number. That's 98 boxes now.
For Hanover West. Hanover West.
Okay, so that's 98 of 111, in fact, where the JLP is Davis at 5,022 to Ian Hales 4,420.
That's about 600 lead.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, Hanover Eastern, Dave Brown of the JLP is pulling ahead slightly of Wavell Hines of the PNP, 2,487 to 2,258, but it's still a little bit early, 44 of 95 boxes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're back in Clarendon, Earl.
Yes, and again, Southwestern Clarendon, the PNP is holding this one. Cousins of the PNP, 4,251. Gammon of the JLP, 2,537, 64 of 96 boxes. What's happening in my parish? Okay, St. Mary, St. Elizabeth Southeastern, Norman Dunn, 4,454, Shane Alexis of the PNP, 3,312. St. Mary Central, Dr. Guy for the PNP seems to be holding on, 5,153 to Lennon Richards of the JLP, 4,713. That's a 4-point lead. Bobby Montague of the JLP doing very well in St. Mary Western, 7,805 to Stanford of the PNP, 4,688, and that's 113 of 100.
A2 milk is real milk from real cows that produce only the A2 protein.
I'm so happy I found it.
And 12 to Ryan Keating of the PNP, 2,037. J.C. Hutchinson doing very well there.
Okay, so we're declaring that seat for J.C. Hutchinson. TVJ is declaring for J.C. Hutchinson. St. Elizabeth Northwest goes back into the JLP column.
Can you go back to St. Thomas Eastern? We hadn't been to St. Thomas in a bit.
We want to finish St. Elizabeth and then we'll look at what's happening on the other end of the island.
St. Elizabeth Northeastern, Delroy Slowly of the JLP, 6,202. Basil Waite of the PNP, 4,985. That's 100 of 120 boxes. And Basil Waite is in trouble.
That is a shocker.
St. Elizabeth Southwestern. In fact, in a sense, St. Elizabeth Southwest is doing better for the PNP than St. Elizabeth Northeastern. The Floyd Green of the JLP, the incumbent, 6,231. And Ewan Stevenson of the PNP, 5,146, 75 of 105 boxes. And in St. Elizabeth Southeastern, where the PNP was pinning some hope, Franklin Witter, the incumbent, 5,595. Dwayne Spencer of the PNP, 4,221. The swing is going against the PNP.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so can we go back to St. Thomas now? Those seats being eagerly watched. For St. Thomas Eastern, we'll bring that up in just a moment, listeners. But Michelle Charles still leading Fenton Ferguson here. 53.37 to 47.74, 108 boxes out of 123.
That is interesting.
The general might be hanging up his stars.
Yes. And there
St. Thomas Western, James Robertson, 6,090. Marsha Francis of the PNP, 4,015. Again, a last-minute change did not help the PNP here. Well, certainly not to take them to victory. That's 102 of 152, 106 of 152 boxes.
Let's go over to St. Thomas and find out what's happening with Raymond Price and Alonda Terrelong in East Central St. Catherine.
So Terrelong has overturned the lead that Price had. Terrelong now has 4,665 to Price, 3,569, and that's 71 of 90 boxes. So it is looking promising for Terrelong at this point.
It seems as if the Gregory Park boxes are coming
Came in. And in St. Catherine Northeastern, 102 boxes of 107. And the JLP's Morrison, Kerencia Morrison, 5,607 to 3,160 for Oswest Senior Smith. The JLP has certainly significantly increased its vote count in, or certainly its percentage in that constituency.
Yeah, because I was looking at that constituency in terms of the numbers, and any party that receives over 5,500 votes, you know, has always won it over the past 3 election cycles.
All right, we're going to be declaring St. Catherine Northeastern. TVJ now declares St. Catherine Northeastern. So we're projecting Kerencia Morrison winning this for the Jamaica Labour Party over the PNP's Oswest Senior Smith. This was one of those seats the PNP had targeted, given its very small margin in the last election. This was a 161 majority, as I recall.
That was Phyllis Mitchell.
Leslie Campbell last held this.
I wonder what's happening in St. Catherine
Okay, hold on a
Southeast.
moment. Hold on a moment, Earl, Newton Amos.
Yes, this is a turn up for the books. 82 of 118 boxes thus far. Newton.
Your Honda dealer is open and ready to get you into a new HRV or CRV.
The PNP and the independent candidate having 14 votes.
2972.
What's that?
2972.
2972. St. Catharines Southeastern, another interesting one. Robert Miller of the JLP 1661 to Colin Fagan's 1221. That's 32 of 122 boxes. Early days yet for that one. But Robert Miller is leading the incumbent.
And given the context,
he will develop from the, he will have more from the national trend. That's clear.
Fitz Jackson in St. Catharines Southern, one of the stronger PNP incumbents, 6,318 to Delroy Dubney's 5,576, is it?
Yeah.
But even that is showing, a trend because
hold on a moment for me. TVJ is declaring St. Catherine South. TVJ declares St. Catherine South for the PNP's Fitz Jackson.
But you just look at the margin there for Fitz, because Fitz the last time won by over 2,000 votes.
Over 2,500.
And he's down just over 1,000 votes now.
Well, at this rate, he'll be one of the minority in the PNP side, no doubt glad for even that reduced majority. Let's go to the break. When we come back with more results here on Decision 2020. Soon come.
But
TVJ's Decision 2020.
2020, the year of the most twists and turns, and we've got you covered. Decision 2020 COVID-style coverage. From the opening of the polls across Jamaica, our teams will bring you ballot-by-ballot coverage. We'll give you the latest voters' count, spiced with our experienced analysts. Which party will form the next government? TVJ's Decision 2020, we've got you covered.
It's the big one.
We are going to create the new Jamaica.
This team is ready to rescue Jamaica.
2020, the year of the most.
It's totally natural, and having only the A2 protein makes all the difference.
Spiced with our experienced analysts. Which party will form the next government? TVJ's Decision 2020, we've got you covered.
Reduce your risk of viral illnesses like the flu and coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing with a tissue and dispose of it. Avoid close contact with anyone with a cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or the nearest health center and share your travel history. The flu and coronavirus can kill. Let's protect each other. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
It's the big one.
We are going to create the new Jamaica.
This team is ready to rescue Jamaica.
"2020, the year of the most twists and turns, and we've got you covered. Decision 2020 COVID-style coverage. From the opening of the polls across Jamaica, our teams will bring you ballot-by-ballot coverage. will give you the latest voters count, spiced with our experienced analysts. Which party will form the next government? TVJ's Decision 2020, we've got you covered.
It's the big one.
We are going to...
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Decision 2020.
The Thermoscientific, Dionix, ICS 6000, HPIC.
We are declaring Eastern Westmoreland. This has now been counted, all boxes counted. The JLPs, Daniel Lawrence, has won the constituency of Eastern Westmoreland by 8 votes, right. EIGHT, over the PNP's Luther Buchanan.
This is a young man that I understand was a member of the PNP-YO and also a part of the executive of Buchanan's constituency.
Yes, let's just update on the other Westmoreland seats while we're in that part of the country. Central Westmoreland at this point in time, can we bring up Central? 97 boxes of 167. The JLP's George Wright also leading in Central, 4,800 to Dwayne Vaz's 3,893. And Western Westmoreland,
167 boxes.
105 boxes out of 121. The JLP's Moreland Wilson, 5533, leading Wickham McNeil, 4287. I think I have to go to the Westmoreland person on the panel now.
I am absolutely stunned.
Yeah.
I am completely stunned. I've been saying from the start of the evening there are some trends developing, but this is a seismic shift that has taken place nationally. I've never been old enough to see a JLP MP in Westmoreland. We had JLP MP in the 1980s, as you know. But you don't speak of Eastern Westmoreland and speak of having a JLP MP. You don't countenance Central Westmoreland with a JLP MP. And certainly you don't countenance Western Westmoreland with a JLP MP. And what is happening now is a massive national swing. I do not know what has been happening in the People's National Party, but there is some disaffection perhaps with the body as a whole because all of their bigwigs are in serious danger of losing and their political bastions have crumbled.
TVJ now declares St. Catherine West Central. TVJ is now declaring St. Catherine West Central for the JLP's Chris Tufter. Need to update you on St. Anne Southeast, Lisa Hanna's seat. St. Anne Southeast right now 119 boxes of 126. The JLP's Delroy Granson leading right now with 49.19. Lisa Hanna at 49.10. So a 9 vote difference separating the two at this point. And who can count better than me? 7 boxes left?
Right, 7 boxes left. And I'd just like to make the point that in 1980, when the PNP was almost wiped out across the nation, Seymour Foggy Mullings was able to retain that seat for the PNP with a margin of 561 votes.
It was one of 3 rural constituencies that was held, the other 2 being West Central St. Mary at the time and East St. Mary.
And that seat has been seen as rock solid, impregnable.
Yeah. Yes. Can I just come in here now? Horace Daly.
This is how Smile Direct Club safely straightens teeth from home. It works for teens and
boxes counted. Dwight Sibley's, a newcomer to the politics, has 6,030 votes. Horace Daly has 5,322. It's about a 700 margin between Horace Daly and Dwight Sibley's in North Clarendon.
So that goes down as a declaration, Northern Clarendon for the JLP's Dwight Sibley's.
It's a long night for the People's National Party.
We've often said as well that
I'm so sorry, Emily, one moment. Southwest St. Catherine. Let's go to Southwest St. Catherine. We're now declaring, TVJ declares Southwest St. Catherine.
That's
Warmington.
over my former neighbor on Taylor Hall, Dr. Kurt Wall.
Well, he'll be back in Gordon House.
I was back to the theory, Dion, that Northwest and North Clarendon would vote together. That has been the trend in the last 3-4 elections or more. North Clarendon has gone to the GLP's Dwight Sibley's, and Philip Henriquez is leading 5,457 to Richard Azan's 5,156, 95 of 107 boxes counted.
90.
St. Anne Northwest was just, we have it back on screen, Earl.
Yes. Yeah. Henriquez of the JLP, 5,116. Richard Azan of the PNP, 4,982. And that is 95 of 107 boxes counted. And St. Anne Northwest, Crystal Lee, 118 of 127 boxes, 7,366. Dayton Campbell, 5,481. A sizable lead for her by about 14%.
And Peter Shand with 720.
And again, the independent candidate, Peter Shand, 726, 5.4% of the votes.
Shand factor again.
But you don't see an independent candidate getting even 1% of the votes normally.
Yes.
But can I just say a simple calculation I just did? Even if we gave Dayton Campbell all of
she would still be
Shand's vote, he would still be trailing Crystal Lee by about 1,000.
Yes.
So this is now part of the national swing.
And in fact, TVJ is now declaring St. Anne Northwestern for the JLP's Crystal Lee.
That constituency has demonstrated once again its propensity to have newcomers or no-name individuals axing big wigs, because you will remember Verna Parchment.
Yes.
And I think it was Arnold Bertram.
This was just part of an experiment. Put some pictures up online, got some good feedback.
The stalwarts in the PNP have lost tonight. This is Peter Bunting's seat. 105 boxes of 128 counted.
That's it.
Rhoda Crawford, 6,621. Peter Bunting is trailing by about 1,100 votes. He's on 5,582. 105 of 28 boxes counted.
And it's been consistent.
Yeah,
it's part of the swing that we're seeing.
23 boxes left.
Yes, but... And Rohan Chung has 37.
Very expensive 37 votes.
I was saying we should do a per capita calculation.
What about Manchester South?
Here are we in St. Anne Southwest. The JLP Xavier Main at 6479. The PNP is... And in fact, we are declaring that seat. We're declaring Xavier Main the winner of that seat. TVJ declares. Okay, we'll be giving you an updated seat count soon, viewers. But as you can see, the results coming in thick and fast.
Dion, a couple of persons on Twitter have been making the 1980 comparison, and quite appropriately so. But the thing is, the circumstances of 1980 were considerably different from the circumstances of 2020.
Ideological.
So I think it makes 2020 even more significant. Of course,
I agree.
The COVID-19 is a factor, but in terms of how it influenced people, I'm just saying it is something that has overhung us during this period. I'm not saying that this has been a factor.
But I think what also needs to be looked at, St. Andrews Southeastern, we're declaring St. Andrews Southeastern, another declaration from TVJ. We are calling this one for the PNP's Julian Robinson, so the PNP's General Secretary holds on to his seat.
And let's face it, as reluctant as he might be, his name will again be called in respect of the leadership stakes for the PNP.
Yes.
When we talk about the swing to the JLP, I think it has to be borne in mind how narrowly the JLP won the 2016 election.
Yes.
Because that was by a whisker, 32-31. Yes. And here we've seen the country now.
It's decisive.
Yes. Significantly going JLP. Nothing close about what is happening tonight. Looking back at St. Thomas Eastern, 4 boxes left. Michelle Charles is at 58.49. Fenton Ferguson at 52.44.
That's done.
So about 600 votes now separating them.
Yeah.
And 4 boxes left.
Fenton Ferguson has been there since 1993. And in fact, he unseated her father, Pernell Charles Sr.
Did we declare St. Andrew Eastern?
If what?
Yes.
Eastern.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
we had declared St. Andrew Eastern for Favour Williams.
Okay. East
and
Rural?
It's Earl, in fact, you mentioned that he unseated Pernell Charles Sr.
No, we didn't.
Who is this year retiring from politics.
Having gone to a different constituency, Clarendon North Central, and had quite a successful stint there.
Yeah,
and now his son, Pernell Jr.
Some kind of symmetry
yes.
there.
East Rural St. Andrew at the moment, box is not done, but Juliet Holness is leading by over 2,400 votes. 106 of 132 boxes counted. She's at 7,944. Joan Gordon Webley, 5,586. So she's clearly benefiting from the national swing over there in East Rural. She doesn't seem to be able to, she probably won't get the 10,000 that she got in 2016, but the margin of the win is now about 2.5 times at the moment her 2016 margin. In West Rural, St. Andrew, we had gone back to West Rural for...
I think we had declared that.
Yes.
West Rural?
I think we need to keep looking at St. Anne Southeastern. 5 boxes are left there. I have Lisa Hanna with 5,019 and Delroy Granston with 4,961.
Yes. So that's what? 39 plus 9, that's 58 votes. Lisa is leading by in Southeast St. Anne.
Yes.
Nail biting.
I've never ever seen anything like this in
coming from over
Southeast St. Anne. This is Foggy Mullings' old seat,
yes.
right, Earl?
Yes, indeed.
And Ivan Lloyd.
Yeah.
In fact, it was from the beginning, it has been PNP territory. Dr.
Yes.
Ivan Lloyd winning it in 1944.
Right.
So apart from the 1983 boycott of the election by the PNP, this is a seat that has been held continuously by one party since universal adult suffrage.
Right. Yeah. Southeast Clarendon, Pernell Charles Jr. seems he has taken that 5 boxes left to go. Pernell Charles Jr. Southeast Clarendon, 9,761. To Patricia Duncan Sutherland, 6,925. Wow. 130 of 135 boxes.
And he has increased the margin.
Yeah, by hundreds.
Yeah, you know, by well over 1,000 or so votes.
Yeah. I've not quite seen an election like this.
And he has, I know that there was a concern coming out of the by-election.
Yes.
Because there was a 18% voter turnout and he got about 4,000 something votes. And they have managed to rally their base and carry some others. And he's now up close to the margin by which Roddy got in 2016.
Basil Waite remains in danger of losing, if we can bring up Northeast St. Elizabeth.
St. Elizabeth.
Northeast St. Elizabeth. 101 of 120 boxes counted.
Well, he has to rally back tonight.
Well, what about Southwest St. Elizabeth and Southeast?
I think Southwest went.
Okay, I was just looking at what's happening with the PNP vice presidents.
Yeah.
So Paulwell Cephas seat, Crawford isn't in the running. Wicker McNeil is in danger. The latest with Mikhail Phillips, Manchester Northwest, 4 boxes left here to count. Right now, he's in the lead with 52.25 over Damian Young of the JLP, 46.67.
Okay.
He's likely to hold on.
He's likely to hold on. It's one of the, well, it is the strongest PNP seat in Manchester.
No, you might say the least weak.
Manchester Central, 112 boxes. It's at the foot of the TV, 112 of 128 counted. Rhoda May Crawford, 7,111. Peter Bunting, 5,908.
That's 1,200
It has not
lead.
changed.
That's a consistent,
it's a consistent
1,000.
over 1,000 lead. Yeah.
This will have a lot of implications.
Looking at Lisa Hanna's seat, I think this is the same. We had 5 boxes left.
Yeah.
Okay, we're still there.
Yeah.
I think we have to wait.
Yeah. Not many persons in the PNP with, say, leadership aspirations will come out of this being particularly strong.
Save and accept. Mark Golding.
Well, he has hardly ever expressed any such aspiration.
Yeah,
I think others have tried to project that onto him. I don't know whether he'll now listen to them.
Well, it seems to have to step up. Let's see.
Yes.
Very interesting.
So, yes, still 5 boxes to go in St. Anne's South Eastern.
All right. Let me just bring in, Don Anderson has been watching all of this, watching all the results coming in. And Don, it's time to ask you, tell me what you're seeing. Perhaps you could unmute your mic, Don. We're not hearing you.
Right. Thank you very much. This is a major shift. The writing was clearly on the wall from all that we have done. My mic is actually unmuted.
Keep going, Don. We're hearing you. Keep going.
Right. The results are startling in terms of those who are losing their seats and who are likely to lose their seats. And the major implication right now is for the leadership of the party. I think we have probably just one of the vice presidents sure to win, which is Philip Paulwell. But all the others are in danger of losing their seats. So there really aren't too many of the front runners in the party left to assume the leadership of the party. So not only is the PNP losing this election badly, but it has major implications for the leadership going forward. We understand the current leader says he's going to be stepping down one way or another. But certainly, I don't think that this is something that he anticipated. It's a massive loss. And I think it is coming as a major surprise to a number of people within the People's National Party and without. The extent of the loss of all is on the card, but the extent of the loss is.
My mother, she'd tell my sister Maya and me, don't sit around and complain about things. Do something.
Life is better with you.
It's a huge shift.
I'm being told that Lisa Hanna has won her seat by 14 votes.
I'm seeing that too. Obviously, that one is headed for a recount.
Yes.
And in the COVID factor, Don Anderson?
It's difficult to measure that. The turnout seems to be fairly good, and therefore, one cannot. There's no basis on which we can scientifically assess the extent of the COVID factor. The weather was good, so that's not something anybody can speak to. The weather was good all day. So it's difficult to assess, except to say that nationally, there is total dissatisfaction with the People's National Party and what has taken place. And I think this really must be the single, you're going to break it down some more, but this is the single most important factor that one can ascribe to this massive defeat of the People's National Party. Total dissatisfaction within the party right across the board. Even those that are winning, except for one or two, are barely holding on, like Lisa Hanna, winning by less than 20 votes.
And just to say, Dion, St. Catherine East Central, Alanda Terrelong has taken that by over 2,000 votes over Raymond Price. So that is almost a 150% or some figure like that multiplied over his 2016 win.
Don Anderson, your thoughts on what we're seeing in Westmoreland?
Again, you know, you heard that Vaz was a bit uncertain. I mean, even though he had a pretty commanding victory in the 2016 election. But to see Wickham McNeil lose and, you know, the other candidate in that area losing as well comes as a major, Buchanan, as a major surprise. One expected them to hold on to those seats even marginally. But it's a total collapse of the PNP's hierarchy in Westmoreland. You know, as Emily says, she had never seen a JLP member of parliament in Westmoreland for some time. So that it is understandable that you would not expect all of Westmoreland to go to the JLP, but it has, and quite convincingly so. None is a marginal.
Don, what do you think of the voter turnout and the impact that might have had?
I haven't quite heard what the voter turnout is yet, but it looks to be pretty decent. It looks to be more than the 40 that I anticipated. I don't know if anybody has that voter turnout to date, cumulatively, nationally, but it seems to be good in several of the areas.
But that would be below what it was for 2016, if it is 40.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
In 2016, it was 47.7. But based on all the other factors, COVID, the fear factor, the potential for rain, which didn't materialize, one would not have expected a turnout more than 40%. But it looks as if it's pretty decent. It may be around 42% based on the numbers I'm seeing. I don't know if there's a national, information, national data right now to talk to us in terms of that.
I see the count for a number of the seats stuck at about halfway. So you know what that means is that in a very short while we'll have a rush of final results.
Yes.
Because the St. James numbers haven't moved for a little while.
But I mean, I heard
one moment, Floyd. We are going to declare Southern Trelawney. TVJ now declares Southern Trelawney.
So. No, that's expected.
And that's Marissa Dalrymple. Philibert returning
back to Hanover,
Gordon House.
What happened?
Emily? You went back to Ian here?
Yeah, I was making the point, Dion, before you made that declaration, that, you know, I heard Don's point about a 40% turnout being pretty decent amid the COVID factor, but I still have a concern in terms of the engagement and involvement of our citizens in the democratic process. I mean, I know that we don't know the final turnout as yet, but, you know, I think anything below 50% in a modern democratic context is very low.
Yeah, but given the special circumstances.
Let's just declare Portland Eastern. TVJ declares Portland Eastern for Anne-Marie Vaz.
Increase the lead.
7,611 to Reverend Jackson's 5,843. A significant increase in her margin of victory.
If we pop over back to Western Hanover, Ian Hales is on the verge of losing his seat. 108 of 111 boxes. Tamika Davis, 5,832. Ian Hales, 4,844. So he's trailing there by 900 and odd. with 3 boxes to go, but based on the margin of this seat, it is not likely that he will come up. And she's clearly benefiting from the seismic national shift.
Another newcomer.
Newcomer. Yes. She's from the area, I understand. Yes. She went to Rossi's. She's an attorney, I understand, yes, and has gone back to the constituency to practice her law there. And just like Anne-Marie Vaz in Eastern Portland, she's been quietly working the seat. Absolutely. And once you work yourself in and the people see some potential, they will give you some support.
We haven't been doing a count of how many of the JLP's female candidates have been successful tonight thus far, but I get the impression that they are generally doing quite well.
We haven't had any unexpected seat that the JLP has lost.
Yes.
No. Hanover Eastern, Wavell Hines of the PNP looks like he is trailing badly as well. 80 boxes of 95. And Dave Brown of the JLP has 4,769. Hines, 3,885.
We are now declaring Hanover Western. Mm-hmm. So we're declaring Hanover Western now for Tamika Davis of the Jamaica Labour Party.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's 54% of the votes for her. 5,832.
So now the PNP incumbent losing his seat there.
So Central Westmoreland, Dwayne Vaz is about to lose Central Westmoreland. Wickham McNeil is about to lose Western Westmoreland. Luther Buchanan has lost Western Westmoreland.
Eastern
Westmoreland, thank you. And the Hanover seats, Dave Brown seemed to be holding on. And Hanover Western, Ian Hales is on the verge of losing it. So the entire Western belt and Trelawney North, that entire belt is all changing from orange to green.
And St. Elizabeth as well.
One moment. And in fact, TVJ is now declaring Western Westmoreland. TVJ is declaring Western Westmoreland for the Jamaica Labour Party's Marland Wilson. Wickham McNeil has lost his seat.
This is unheard of. I cannot even begin to say how absolutely shocking this is to the body politic of the country. And more than anything else, apart from the loss which the PNP is going to have to scrape itself up off the ground and do a lot of assessment, what concerns me now is
I'm asking you to make a donation right now before the official FEC deadline. And if you do, it will be triple matched. Experts.
Here's Central Emily.
Wow. George Wright, who is the councillor for the Petersfield Division, 149 of 167 boxes counted, and he's 6,569 votes to Dwayne Vaz's 5,455. So he's leading now by 1,100 approximately, and Don Foote.
Okay, let's go to the break, and we come back with Decision 2020 in just a moment.
TVJ's
"2020, the year of the most twists and turns, and we've got you covered. Decision 2020 COVID-style coverage. From the opening of the polls across Jamaica, our teams will bring you ballot-by-ballot coverage. We'll give you the latest voters' count, spiced with our experienced analysts. Which party will form the next government? TVJ's Decision 2020, we've got you covered.
It's the big one.
We are going to create the new Jamaica.
This team is ready to rescue Jamaica.
2020, the year of the most twists and turns, and we've got you covered. Decision 2020 COVID-style coverage. From the opening of the polls across Jamaica, our teams will bring you ballot-by-ballot coverage. We'll give you the latest voters' count, spiced with our experienced analysts. Which party will form the next government? TVJ's Decision 2020, we've got you covered.
Reduce your risk of viral illnesses like the flu and coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing with a tissue and dispose of it. Avoid close contact with anyone with a cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or the nearest health center and share your travel history. The flu and coronavirus can kill. Let's protect each other. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
It's the big one.
We are going to create the new Jamaica.
This team is ready to rescue Jamaica.
2020, the year of the most twists and turns, and we've got you covered. Decision 2020, COVID-style coverage. From the opening of the polls across Jamaica, our teams will bring you ballot-by-ballot coverage. We'll give you the latest voters' count, spiced with our experienced analysts. Which party will form the next government? TVJ's Decision 2020, we've got you covered.
It's the big one.
We are going to create the new Jamaica.
This team is ready to rescue Jamaica.
2020, the year of the most twists and turns, and we've got you covered. Decision 2020, COVID-style coverage. From the opening of the polls across Jamaica, our teams will bring you ballot-by-ballot coverage. We'll give you the latest voters' count, spiced with our experienced analysts. Which party will form the next government? TVJ's Decision 2020, we've got you covered.
Reduce your risk of viral illnesses like the flu and coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing with a tissue and dispose of it. Avoid close contact with anyone with a cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or the nearest health center and share your travel history. The flu and coronavirus can kill. Let's protect each other. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
It's the big one.
Through a process of review, and that process will start immediately, and I think as early as tomorrow we'll be saying something far more fulsome to the media.
Were you shocked by the results, sir?
It was unexpected, really unexpected.
How much of a factor do you think this unity was a part of?
Well, you know, we have to acknowledge that people don't support a party that they perceive to be as disunited. And that's why so much effort was put into resolving those issues. And I think we did do a good job, a credible job, in bringing back those of the comrades who did not win in September last year to be a part of the campaign. I myself worked very closely with Comrade Bunting, and we've had an excellent period. Perhaps I didn't have enough time to convince the Jamaican people that we were solidly and totally united. And it is work that we have to now do to ensure that the Jamaican people can once more.
Hey you, yes, you. I need you to take our quick one-question survey before
by the results that you've been seeing.
Especially, sir, given the context that the PNP lost some key seats, Westmoreland, St. Thomas. Talk to us about that.
Well, let me be honest. When I leave my constituency every election evening at 6 o'clock, I go home, I turn off everything, and I wait until about 8:30 to see what is happening on my phone. So it is quite shocking. I haven't come to terms as yet with all of the decisions. And yes, you're correct. It is a shocking defeat. But we have been here before. I recall in 1980, the very first time I voted in my life, we had a similar defeat. And in less than 10 years, we were back in power.
Would you say that this is an indictment on Dr. Peter Phillips' leadership, sir?
No, listen, all of us will have to accept full responsibility. I, as campaign director, co-director, I have to take full responsibility for my own role in this campaign. So we're not going to start by pointing fingers, by issuing blame. I think there's enough for all of us to accept and to recognize that we have to come better, that there were certain aspects of our conduct that people did not like, especially the issue of unity. And we have to build back that, we have to build back the trust. And I believe in short order, especially during this critical period when we now have to summon a united effort, because that is what is required now to overcome this period, and it's going to be with us for some time. And so we really wish the government well. We wish our people well, and we are going to embrace all those initiatives to ensure that we can overcome. I just want to say something. There were a couple of good ideas that we had in our manifesto, and I really want to commend them to the government. We are prepared to discuss them. I believe that there were some serious thinking into how we could alleviate the difficulties that people face. I still believe that the proposal to deal with utilities at this time, water and electricity, are sound proposals, and I really want to commend them to the government and for us to engage in the dialogue. I think we also have to now far more and aggressively pursue the issue of crime and violence, to come to a definite position, one position as a country, so that we can stem this stir.
So you stand before us, were you crying?
No, not as yet. I'm sure it will come.
Sir, what happens now?
Can we just have one question at a time,
he would resign should the PNP lose the election. Was that a decision made mutually between him and the rest of the party?
I am a loyalist. I was loyal to PJ, to Portia, and I'm loyal to Dr. Phillips. That's entirely a matter for Dr. Phillips, and I would not comment.
So you're stepping in a position?
Me?
Yeah.
No, that has not been in my contemplation at all. I think we have a party now to rebuild, and we have people in the party who are qualified, who are experienced, who will work to rebuild the party. And I have no doubt that we will wheel and come again.
Mr. Caldwell, you're the vice president of this party. Where is the president at this time?
The president of the party will be joining us tomorrow in a press conference.
Any other questions?
Anything else you'd like to add, sir?
Yes. Anything to your supporters who came out in numbers?
Well, I have to say to the people of East Kingston and Port Royal my appreciation. We did have some difficulties today. A lot of the elderly people in the Norman Gardens area, Springfield, they were afraid to come out, even with our urgings, and because people regard the constituency as a relatively safe place, safe seat, the urgings did not work this time. But we want to commend all of those brave people who came out, thank them, and I will be a better member of Parliament for them.
What role do you think the manifesto played in what happened here tonight?
No, I don't think we can blame the manifesto. I thought we had a very good manifesto. Perhaps we weren't able to expound, to get it out there sufficiently. And again, these are things that we're going to have to review, and we're going to be able to give you a far more fulsome position as to the reasons for this severe loss tonight.
Mr. Paulwell, with the surprising loss of some of the major experienced candidates who we would possibly be looking to as the next leader of the PNP, Dr. Phillips said he will be stepping down from the leadership role. Looking around, you know, who do you see moving forward as the next leader of opposition? Certainly with those who have won.
No, that is far too premature to even start to contemplate that. I think we have to take stock, we have to come together, and we have to make those decisions collectively. I think it's far too premature now. I think it's the Prime Minister's moment, it's the Jamaica Labour Party's moment. Let us congratulate them and let us wish them well in full and total sincerity. The country is going to need all the luck and the blessings that we can get.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It was a
Thank you,
pleasure.
sir.
No problem. Thanks, man.
REFM. Where is REFM?
Thank you so much for staying with us on Decision 2020.
Hi, it's Stacey Abrams. There is a huge fundraising deadline coming up for Senate Democrats.
A report at the Electoral Office says the tally now stands at 50 for the Jamaica Labour Party and 13 for the People's National Party. So that's 50 at this point for the Jamaica Labour Party and 13 for the People's National Party. I think at this point it's easier to say which seats the PNP has won than to try to list the 50 that the JLP has won. So let me just go through them pretty quickly as I'm getting them from the Electoral Office. So the PNP has held on to East Kingston and Port Royal, St. Andrew Western, St. Andrew East Central, St. Andrew Southwestern, St. Andrew Southern, St. Andrew Southeastern. So I'm just listing for you here the 13 seats, that's 1-3, at this point in time
6 in Kingston
that we are having won by the People's National Party. St. Mary Central as well, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's 7 so far of the 13.
For the PNP.
Coming in as we speak. So St. Andrew South, St. Anne Southeast, I beg your pardon, as well is another of those
I think St. Catherine
seats.
North Central, as I call it, the battle of the two Natalie's. Natalie Nita has held on to that as well.
Yeah, I'm just getting the updated list as we speak. All right, so realistically, Clive Mullings, what happened? And I've seen people as well asking, why is it Philip Paulwell speaking? And shouldn't we by now be hearing from Peter Phillips? Clive?
Well, one thing for sure is that we know that Dr. Phillips has made public his concession, like that he has already called Andrew Holness to congratulate him on the victory. But what this is saying, quite frankly, is that the country has moved decisively against the PNP as it is now constituted. For the leadership of the party to get this kind of shellacking in seats that normally one would expect them to win by a canter, or at least to make a very good showing, for Westmoreland to move in the way that it has is an indictment. And I believe the important thing for them now is how we're going to come together. Leadership has to be settled, who's going to come to the fore, and also what it means for our democracy. Because if you have a weak opposition, where are the real checks and balances on the floor of the parliament, where legislation is concerned and the constitution and going forward? It is very easy for a party to withdraw and to go into a bitter time of reflection and recriminations. But also on the other side, it's also easy for a party who has won like this to be drunk on victory and therefore to move headlong into doing things which ordinarily they would not have done. So it's a situation that is very important for the future of the country as to how the leaders of the parties are going to be interacting, how those who come into the parliament are going to take the business of parliament and the welfare of the country, and at the same time to understand we are in a COVID pandemic. Serious decisions have to be made, and the economy is going to be under tremendous pressure. And in fact, if we are not able to weather this, it could also mean that the political fortunes of whoever is governing could also be at risk in the future. So I think it's a situation where we are generally surprised by the extent of this, but at the same time, they have to come together and sort out their leadership. May I give some gratuitous advice? Look at Mark Golding, for instance. He has to step up. We're going to be the leader of opposition business. All of these things have to be sorted out very, very quickly. I think Dr. Phillips has no alternative but to resign.
How quickly? As
quickly as possible, because they want to lay this at his feet. They're going to lay this also at Bunting's feet, because persons are saying, were it not for that challenge, maybe you'd have made a better showing of it all. So Ms. Hannah is not in a particularly good position, given the fact that she won by 14 votes, and of course you can expect a recount on that. So all the main actors, including young Crawford, are going to face serious scrutiny. To me, Mark Golding seems to be the person, like the person to go forward for the People's National Party.
Nicole, for you, what happens?
I agree with Clive's point about Mark Golding. The fact of the matter is that a country cannot benefit from a weak opposition. And so Dr. Phillips has said and indicated that he will step down, or he would step down in the event of a loss. I don't think there should be any delay with that at all, because this has been going on for some time. This isn't new. The issue of the leadership of the People's National Party is not a new one. The matter of the disunity in the party is not a new one. It ought not to continue. I think the party has to do some soul searching. And while I understand that there are wounds that will have to be dealt with, I suggest that the country nor the party, neither the country nor the party can afford to dwell on it, because the people are changing. And the fact of the matter is, we have a new generation, I think, of voters. I know that there were, I think, 89,000 new voters on the list. I don't know if many of them were young persons. But the People's National Party has to take a very cold, hard, objective look at itself, at what it is the Jamaican people are saying to the party in very clear, decisive terms, and make the right decisions moving forward. And the leadership issue has to be dealt with as quickly as possible.
Floyd, for you?
Well, first and foremost, I want to congratulate the Jamaica Labour Party on a decisive victory, and to say that the party, we have to move urgently to deal with some of the issues that the Jamaican electorate have seemed to frown upon, and Clive and Nicole have mentioned some of those issues of disunity in terms of the leadership, and also there seemed to be a trust deficit between the party and the populace, and that is a matter that has to be corrected. How that is corrected, there has to be an infusion of new, young, and vibrant leadership, because you have to have individuals who will be able to take the party probably for the next 10 or so years. We will have to look futuristically on how we position ourselves for the next couple of election cycles, and we have to do a lot of rebranding, our whole mode of communication, our whole organizational structure, how we recruit and train individuals. I tell you, Deanna, I was very appalled at some of the type of canvassing that I am accustomed to from my mother, from Horace Clark, from P.J. Patterson, from Maxine Henry Wilson, it's just not there today. People don't know their voters and people want to just stay on their veranda and do a canvass rather than interacting with the voters. What I call electoral engagement is totally absent in the constituencies. And then, you know, I mean, members of parliament have to understand that you can't wait until an election cycle. You are going to come and go out there and press flesh with the people. The people have moved to a stage where they have information at their fingertips, and you have to be constantly in their ears.
Let me just interrupt just for a moment, just to let our viewers and listeners know. So, as I said, it's easy at this point to name the seats that the PNP has managed to hold on to, rather than to go through the 50 at this point, which is the count we currently have: 50 to the JLP, 13 to the PNP. So East Kingston and Port Royal, Philip Paulwell, St. Andrew Western, Tony Hilton, Peter Phillips with St. Andrew East Central, Angela Brown-Burke, St. Andrew South West, Mark Golding, St. Andrew South, Julian Robinson, St. Andrew South East, Maurice Guy, St. Mary's Central, Lisa Hanna, St. Anne South East, Michael Phillips, Manchester North West, Lothan Cousins, Clarendon South West, Fitz Jackson, St. Catherine South, Natalie Nita, St. Catherine North Central, Denise Daly, St. Catherine Eastern. And if you by some chance are just joining us and you're wondering what has happened to a lot of the names you would have expected to have heard, a lot of seats were lost tonight. And this is, what's the word Emily was using? Seismic?
Seismic shift.
Seismic shift. So it's a lopsided, there are two democratic issues here. It's a lopsided parliament, which is never very good because the government gets, you know, much less oversight. Yeah. But on the other hand, the safe seat phenomenon, where we're seeing it once again rocked. And, you know, it really challenges the parties because now they know that you have to fight for the voters. It's not just going to be handed to you.
And the poll said it, that you cannot depend on tradition anymore. It's not about, oh, they have voted like this all along. For me, that Don Anderson poll that indicated that younger voters who look more at issues tend towards the JLP, and older voters who vote along traditional lines tend toward the PNP, was a very, very critical bit of information, because what it says is that you have to do more than depend on this is how it always has been, right? You have to now put before voters what are the issues that we're dealing with. So even, for example, looking at the manifestos, I said to myself, one of the things that I wanted to see was, this is a very serious situation. There's an immediacy and urgency to the situation. That I didn't see the question answered, what are we going to be doing specifically in the next 12 to 18 months that will lay a particular kind of foundation for us moving forward? But this is what people are looking to hear.
You spoke of polls there. Let me just bring back in Don Anderson, because there was a lot of questioning of the polls done.
Well, you know, it is normal. Quite often when a particular poll result is not going in the direction of a particular party, then there's criticism. But this is something we take in stride because, as I mentioned in an article on Sunday, the persons who are most critical generally of the polls are the ones who call me the next morning and ask me if I have any more information. So, you know, we have to look at that. We don't ignore it, but it's a factor that we cater for, you know. I think in a nutshell, what this particular performance today says, it's a total rejection of the People's National Party. And therefore, it is incumbent upon them to do some very serious introspection, because obviously they have lost the attachment with the people of Jamaica. to have this kind of performance. It's really a disastrous performance on the part of the People's National Party. But if I might say so, the writing has been on the wall for some time. And from 2016, when they lost that election, I believe they've gone into a nosedive to a certain extent. And I don't think we've done a poll at all in those 4 years that suggests that people believe that they are a viable opposition. And it is showing tonight that they have a lot of work to do to retain the confidence of the general public. The leadership issue is something that obviously is going to occupy their minds immediately. But I would like to suggest to them that they may want a little cooling down period. I hear Paul Will talking about meeting tomorrow morning. I suspect that in that kind of environment, it will be a very hotly debated, a very probably contentious meeting. I think probably it's not the right time to do so. I think perhaps, but it is instructive that Paul Will spoke, and I hear him talking very commandingly about a meeting tomorrow, as if he has assumed the leadership of the party. But I suppose somebody has to, because we haven't quite heard from Peter so far. But this is something that they have to think about very carefully.
Okay, let's go to
very
the break.
Carefully.
We're standing by to hear from the Jamaica Labour Party headquarters. Stay tuned.
TVJ's
"2020, the year of the most twists and turns, and we've got you covered. Decision 2020 COVID-style coverage. From the opening of the polls across Jamaica, our teams will bring you ballot-by-ballot coverage. We'll give you the latest voters count, spiced with our experienced analysts. Which party will form the...
Hi, it's Stacey Abrams. There is a huge fundraising deadline coming up for Senate Democrats, and they need your help right now if they're going to meet it. I'm asking you to donate now to help flip the Senate, and if you do, your gift will be triple matched. Democrats need to flip just 4 seats.
Shelter for me, and a
Yes, man. My goodness, my father's children. Let me say thank you for joining us this evening, man. My God. Oh, Jesus. Let me say, man, hope you enjoy what we have give this evening, man. Let me say the studio is full of people this evening, man. Right here in Gospel FM.
When my heart is overwhelmed, come on, somebody needs to testify tonight.
My God, mercy, Gospel FM. My goodness. Yes, man. Can I tell you? Yeah, man, we have more than one person in the studio this evening, man. Celebrating with Jamaica. Let me say to God be the glory. The election is over. Yes, man. Let me say, man, if your party did not win tonight, don't be discouraged, all right? Yeah, man, still fellowship, man. Yes, man. Thank you for joining us on Gospel FM, your family station. To God be the glory, great things he has done. Yes, man. Let me say congratulations to the JLP.
Lead me to the rock that is higher than I. That is higher than I. For thou hast been a shelter for me and a strong tower from the enemy.
Thank you for like and share, man. Yes, man. Congratulations again, man, to the JLP, the Labor Right Party. Yes, man. Yes, man. God bless you, my father's children. Gospel FM, your family station. As we bring it live, man. Remember, Gospel FM is a family station, right? Yes, man. I know for sure. Gospel FM.
Lead me to the rock that is higher than I. That is higher than I. You need to talk to the Lord. Hear my.
Thank you for sharing, man. Yes, man. I know, let me say, man, I'm sure right now, man, Jamaica is, my God, celebrating. All the labor rights are let me say, JLP are, let me say, celebrating right now. Let me say to the PNP party, don't be discouraged, all right? Don't be discouraged, man. It's all about, we have to have a leader, right? Yes, man. God bless you, my father's children. Have yourself a wonderful night. Be blessed. Have yourself, man, a wonderful night.